Hi, I'm Coach Larry Wasserman from Body Basics Fitness in Warren, New Jersey. Today, I want to talk to you about your feet. That's right. Think about your feet and how much work they do. We really take them for granted, and they're very, very important. Our feet are made for walking and running, jumping, balancing, climbing, and more. So it's really no wonder that the human foot is so complex. And believe it or not, whether you have a size 6, 9, or 12, we all have 28 bones. You realize that that's nearly a quarter of all the bones in your entire body? Plus 30 joints and more than 100 muscles, ligaments, and tendons. Now, all of these structures work together like a fine-tuned machinery to carry out two important functions: weight bearing and propulsion. These functions require a high degree of stability, and in addition, the foot must be flexible so that it can adapt to uneven surfaces. So there's really no reason, it's amazing when you think about it, why the foot is so complex. So now I want to bring your attention to this little bit of information. I found this fascinating. Let me share this with you from this book. It's a little book on reflexology that I picked up. So in the early 20th century, an American ear, nose, and throat specialist, William H. Fitzgerald, he lived from 1872 to 1942, published his reports of a discovery, albeit accidental, that gentle pressure applied to specific parts of the hand and foot caused partial anesthesia in areas of the ear, nose, and throat. He claimed that by using pressure points on the hands and feet, he was able to perform minor surgery without using an anesthetic. Fitzgerald tried to map these areas or zones, described reflex zone therapy. This identified 10 zones running through the body and included maps of the internal organs reflected on the hands and feet. Controlled pressure with the fingers and thumbs at the end of these zones was said to produce a response elsewhere in the body. Reflexology claimed Fitzgerald and Bowers could have an effect which would be beneficial on individual organs and interrelationships between organs and other body systems. Bam, there you go. So, have you ever seen a little chart like this? Well, many of you probably have. So here's my point. We know that by taking care of the feet, we are impacting other areas of the body. For example, some of those zones can impact the liver, for example, or your gallbladder, or your heart. And we don't have to necessarily know that we are specifically applying therapy to those areas, but if we take better care of our feet, we are taking care of our bodies systemically. And I think that's a pretty good thing. Point number 2. I'm going to use a stability ball to demonstrate what we're going to do next. So here I am in a seated position. Let me get in camera frame. Here I am in a seated position. Now, in this position, it's something that we all do way too often. Let's kind of look at some of the examples. Driving our cars, working at our desks, maybe at a job, or you're a student, watching TV, reading a book, playing cards, all the meals that we take, going to the movies, on and on and on. This is a flexed position. When you do this a lot, or when you do anything with repetition, your body gets really good at it, and the body adapts the muscles to this position. By adapt, I mean the quadricep muscles are going to get a little shorter, and their opposite or antagonist, your glutes, are going to get a little weaker and stretched. Well, when you stand up, that's going to result in being slightly in an anterior pelvic tilt. Now, I'm exaggerating this for visual purposes. This is standing tall, but what if you were just like that? And it's no wonder that as we age, we get rounded and rounded because of what happens here, and tight muscles in the chest and weak muscles in the back. So whatever we do with repetition has an impact on the body over time. Aging and living under gravity are two things that nobody can get away from. But there are things that we can do. I call these countermeasures. These are little exercises or hacks that we can do on a daily basis as a way to, let's say, hedge against slow and often debilitating impact of aging and living under gravity. If the body sits and doesn't get any relief, the opposite, what is that relief? Okay, the opposite of flexion is extension. So if my back is sitting in this position, if I'm sitting in this position and my back is rounded, then the opposite of that would be extended. The stability ball is a great tool to help me demonstrate what that looks like. So I'm going to walk it out and get into this position with my head back. So now my back has this nice arch curve in it, and this just feels great. Caution, not everyone can perform this movement on a stability ball. If you have back pain, please see a competent medical professional first. This exercise is successful if you can get your entire spine on the ball from your hips to your head. If your hips make contact but your head does not, you are putting yourself at risk for neck muscle strain. Some people get dizzy or nauseous in this position. If you find yourself getting dizzy, stop. All right. How many opportunities in the day do you have to go into extension? Not many, unless maybe you're a gymnast, a dancer, practicing yoga, and I'm sure there are others. I just can't think of them right now. My point is that most people don't put their backs into an extension. I'm getting a little off track here, but I want to use the back as an example to get back to the feet. Like the back that flexes, when we walk and have gait, my feet are flexing as well, over and over again. So the simple act of walking, our heel makes contact, okay? So we're reducing and stabilizing our weight. We roll through, and now we start to produce force for propulsion. And that all happens off of this big toe joint called the phalanx joint. So over and over and over again. Now, when you think of all of the activities that a human body can possibly do, from normal walking to aggressive sports, that's a lot of flexing of the foot. I think it's important to take the foot into extension, okay? And we're going to do that like this. So all of that to get to this point. So let's look at all the things that the foot can do. The foot can internally rotate or externally rotate. And what I mean to say is it can do that either at will, or it might be doing that to some degree as a result of tight muscles, or let's say muscle imbalances. Depending on your ankle mobility and tight muscles, your foot might pronate. You'll see how my ankle caves in, and I'm now putting more weight on my inside of my foot on the medial side. Or it can supinate, where you'll have more weight on the external side or the outside, the lateral side of the foot, okay? Then let's turn sideways. Now I have a pretty normal arch, okay? Some people have a high arch and some people have a flat foot. I'm going to flatten my foot here the best I can. And you can see that that can have some impact on how the feet work as well, all right? So, quick review. Internal, external, pronate, supinate, and your arch height all have an effect, okay? Oh, let's not forget our toe mobility, okay? Can you articulate your toes? Can you separate them? Can you hold 4 toes down and lift up your big toe? Can you push your big toe down and lift up 4 toes? I'm standing barefoot. You can do this in your shoes. It doesn't matter. But here's what you want to do. You're going to stand on one foot, take your other foot, and put your toes down, okay? And you're going to apply some gentle pressure as you lower yourself on the foot you're balancing on. This is my right foot. I'm bending that knee and applying some gentle pressure on my left foot. Let me change angles here so you can see. And I'm just going to get that foot to roll gently and press down. Now, I'm also getting some stretch into the muscles on the front of my leg. Okay, this is the anterior tibialis, and to the lateral muscles, the peroneals. Okay, and that feels really, really good. I'm a big believer in manually massaging your own feet. When you take a moment to take your hands and put them on your feet and press into the soles of your feet, you're practicing reflexology. Without knowing the specific areas and what's reflected on what zone, just have peace of mind to know that by massaging your feet, you're improving your systemic health. You're probably also alerting yourself and becoming aware of anything that might be a problem. For example, you might discover that you have the beginning of plantar fasciitis, in which case you can then take care of it, catch it early so it doesn't become debilitating. All right, so your hands on your feet is a really important thing. So what should you do and in what order? Well, I'll just share with you what I do. This technique that I just showed you, standing, we can replicate in this position by simply taking your fingers. And what I'm doing is I'm putting my fingers on all of these bones of my big toe, starting at the toe with the phalanges, okay? I'm gonna press my thumb into the bottom and pull them down. And just that one line of bones is now flexed, all right? And now the other one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And I'm just bending them down and creating that accelerated arch in my foot. Now I'm finding that I'm getting a little bit of a foot cramp, so I'm going to back off. If you do get a foot cramp, just stand up and put your full weight on that foot and walk, and I promise you it will go away very quickly. All right, so manually palpate with your thumbs, explore all the different textures and zones of your feet. You find your tender area, press in a little more, work it out like a massage therapist would work out a knot or a kink, okay? And spend some time there. Do this when you're watching TV. Maybe share a sensual foot massage with your significant other by working on each other's feet. Get some hand lotion and get your hands and your feet nice and soft. Have some fun with this. It's really good. It's very therapeutic. And again, I think it will improve your systemic health. So there's two techniques. We have the standing technique, which you're stacking your habits and taking your foot into the opposite position of which it normally just flexes. We're taking it, flexing in the other direction. And now the manual technique of addressing your foot health and getting in touch with them using your hands. All right, so there you go. I'm Coach Larry Wasserman from Body Basics Fitness. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.